I'm here to introduce Power Tainen's ESG and Sustainability Reporting webinar. We are delivering these as a series of educational pieces for our clients and our community that have reached out for assistance. We have mandatory reporting on our doorstep, and most businesses have expressed concern that they're unprepared. Their leadership team are unprepared, their businesses aren't prepared for what's actually required of them to deliver sustainability reporting and carbon emissions assessments. So here we are. We will give you a bit of a background here today on ESG and sustainability reporting and give you a bit of an idea on what we've got coming up that may be able to assist your business with building their own ESG and sustainability reporting. A bit of a disclaimer, anything that we talk about here today is purely for information purposes. It is just general information, it is not specific advice, so should be treated as such. Just a little bit about ESG and sustainability reporting. Our approach to this is to work with our businesses to empower them to be able to build and develop their own reporting, and then we see ourselves just supporting that process, educating and making sure that capability exists and understanding and awareness exists of what needs to be considered, why and how you can then deliver on what your business needs over the coming months and years. What will we cover today? We've got a bit of a meet the team, so I'll introduce you to the members of our ESG and sustainability team here at Power Tainen and some partners that we work with to deliver complete solutions for businesses. We've got a bit of a background on ESG and what makes up the ESG framework. Then we will dive into sustainability reporting that is coming and who it is for, why all businesses need to worry, not just your large reporting entities, but also your smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses that might not be captured by the mandatory reporting thresholds. And then how do you start? At a basic level, what can you do within your business to get yourself ready for mandatory reporting? Or just sustainability reporting to meet stakeholder needs, internal needs. And I will finish up by introducing Natalie Williams, who is a partner of ours. We work in partnership with her business, Natural Capital Co. And together we're running a suite of workshops, intensive workshops that will support businesses to develop an in-depth understanding of what is required and how they can then deliver sustainability reporting. So on our team here, we have our CEO and Executive Director, Amanda Kennefaig. So Amanda is that sustainable business strategy person within our organisation. She is there to help all clients and the community to build that strategic awareness of how to move their businesses forward in a sustainable way and how to implement that change within their business. And you've got myself, who is supporting Amanda, and we're building the emissions accounting component of our business, and so just working with a lot of our internal team to build that capability and upskill everyone. We've been my background is in carbon trading and waste to energy assessments, so the environmental licensing side of things, I have exposure in that space, so it's expanding on that to just deliver for our clients a seamless experience as best we can in terms of including what is necessary in terms of data capture to deliver an emissions assessment. And I've got Naomi, our client manager, assisting with these projects, and we're supporting the team to deliver this on a daily basis for our clients. So, and then we've got Nat Williams. Natalie is a carbon capital project specialist. She works on carbon project development, ESG project development, and consulting. And she is also a footprint specialist, a carbon footprint specialist. So we work really closely with Natural Capital Co. to build sustainability reporting solutions for clients. What is ESG? ESG is effectively a framework that is used to assess a business or explore a business from a broader lens than what has traditionally been the focus. So, you know, for many years, it's very much been about profitability, future cash flows, and the financial position of a business. ESG is taking that longer term view, and it's taking a broader, more holistic view of a business. So it's assessing a business, well, you know, starting with your E, so you've got your environmental lens, and it's looking at, you know, what your business is emitting, you know, what impact your business is having on the land, its water usage, you know, its waste production, you know, whether it's involved in a circular economy, any pollutions that are generated through your activities, and what raw materials are required to deliver your product or service, and any impacts on biodiversity. So it's looking at how you impact on your community from that environmental or climate influencing perspective. You've then got your social element, so you've got what impact you have on your stakeholders and the communities with which you operate. So it's looking at diversity and inclusion. It's looking at health and safety, how you look after the people that work with your business or work in your business. It's how you invest in your people, you know, their development, and invest in the communities with which you operate to improve the outcomes for the people that you engage with. And it is just looking at that broader stakeholder engagement piece. So how you engage day to day with your community. Then you've got the governance lens. So it's who runs your business, the capabilities of the people running your business. And when you look at capability, you're looking at diversity of thought, you're looking at diversity of the executive team, the boards, and what mechanisms you have in place to support the effective and efficient running of your business, and the ethical engagement that you have with your stakeholders. So making sure that you have effective policies and procedures in place, and effective whistleblower policies and codes of ethics. So that's that governance piece that forms the ESG framework. So how does this feed into ESG or sustainability reporting? So a lot of the elements of sustainability reporting and how you identify the risks and opportunities for your business stem from that ESG framework. So you are looking at through 4 pillars, or you're reporting through 4 pillars, which is your governance pillar, your strategy pillar, your risk management, and your targets and metrics. But you're doing so using the ESG framework. So And it's all about identifying what risks and opportunities there are for your business, and making sure that you're taking that view from your entire value chain, that you're considering both at the front end from your sourcing of your materials through to your customer engagement piece, so and everything in between. And again, it's taking that both short and long-term view. It's also, not limiting it to just that financial component, which your reporting historically has been. So what specifically is included in a sustainability report? You have your current material actions and effects. So how your business is currently identifying and mitigating and managing material climate risks and opportunities, and what capital you're investing in addressing those, what your scope 1, 2 and 3 emissions are, and what assets and business activities might be vulnerable to risks and opportunities. And you're also looking at your carbon prices and any remuneration that might be linked to sustainability outcomes. You're also then future looking. So you're looking at what potential impacts there might be on your business model as a result of risks and opportunities within the sustainability space, or the climate, or changes within climate, and how that might have an impact on your financial position or future cash flows. What resilience your business has, and what scenario analysis you've performed to assess that. And it's also the setting of targets and the plans associated with delivering those targets. That's where a lot of the litigation has occurred with sustainability statements that haven't been backed up. So the expectation of the regulators is that you can make claims around what your targets are, but you need to have an effective and implementable plan sitting behind that can demonstrate how you will deliver on those targets. So the other pillar of sustainability reporting was sustainability governance. So this is really looking at the governing bodies that sit within a business, the roles and responsibilities, skill sets, the frequency of reporting, and the reporting structures that you have in place. So it might be committee structures, it might be individuals, and how these structures go about setting targets for the business. You've then also got the management element to that, the roles and delegations that sit within the management team, how they're supported by processes, controls and procedures, and the levels of management that might sit and support to make sure that any targets that might be set, that you have effective capabilities and levels of management that are dedicated to the sustainability space that can support the outcomes. So then you've also got the pillar of sustainability related strategy disclosures. So within this, it's looking at your strategy, making sure that it covers climate-related risks and opportunities, and then it's breaking down or identifying with each of these opportunities and risks, the time horizons are, what the effects on position and performance and cash flows may be, and the underlying assumptions and qualitative and quantitative information that makes up those amounts that you're disclosing, any anticipated changes to business models and value chains that might be anticipated as a result of these risks and opportunities. You've got how you're progressing on your plans and targets. So, under the governance, you've got how you set the targets, and then within the strategy, it's how you're going towards meeting those and whether you need to shift any statements or disclosures around the targets that you've set for your business, whether they are realistically achievable based on your progress through these plans, and any trade-offs that you may have considered with your sustainability planning. And finally, then you've just got your resilience and capability. So your ability to adjust to any uncertainties that may arise. So that brings us to a crucial element of sustainability reporting, and that is your emissions calculations. So determining what your CO2 equivalent emissions are for your business. And that is generally broken down into 3 scopes, scope 1, 2 and 3. And you may see similarities between your emissions assessment and activity-based costing systems that or processes that may be existing within your business. It is very similar. It is just a way of capturing a different type of data that businesses have historically not bothered with. So generally it's been purely financial. So this is allowing or expanding on the type of information that businesses are capturing. So just broadly, you've got your scope 1, which are your direct emissions that your business has the ability to control, and then you've got your scope 2, so your purchased electricity, and then your scope 3, which is your downstream activities. So we've got here a bit of a description on or some examples of each of your scope 1, 2 and 3. So yeah, scope 1 are your direct emissions. So, and this is from assets owned by the organisation. You're looking at your fugitive emissions from livestock, or your refrigeration assets that might have refrigerants in them, or air conditioning assets. You've also got fuel consumption that has been burned or consumed within assets owned by the business. So that's the bulk of your scope 1. You do have chemical usage and a few other things in there that are very specific to certain industries. You've then got your scope 2, which, as I mentioned, is your purchased electricity. So, that might just be from a retail supplier, or it may be through a direct contract with an energy supplier. So that's really just looking at your purchased electricity, heat, steam and cooling. Then you've got your scope 3. So your scope 3 covers everything else. It is capturing all of your purchased goods and services. So you've got your upstream, your purchased goods and services. You've got anything required to deliver your product and service within the confines of your business. You've got employee commutes. You've got what else have we got in there? It's leased assets. It's waste generated, or the emissions from waste within your business. And then you've got your downstream assets, downstream emissions, which are any emissions generated through the consumption of your product and services by your customer. Most businesses don't necessarily calculate the emissions of the downstream element. They tend to stick to your cradle to gate as opposed to cradle to grave, but you have the opportunity to assess and determine how you calculate the scope 3 emissions and where you draw the boundaries for those assessments. So why do you have to worry about this reporting? Mandatory reporting is coming to Australia, and it's very near. So we currently have draft financial or climate-related financial disclosures, and they are open for feedback until the 1st of March. We've then got the final release of those expected between April and June this year. And then from 1st of July, we will have the commencement of reporting, mandatory sustainability reporting for Group 1 entities. So we've got here who will be caught up in the mandatory reporting requirements, what the thresholds are, bearing in mind that if you meet 2 out of 3 of the conditions, then you effectively have to mandatory report from the commencement year. So your Group 1 entities are obviously your heavy emitters, but you've also got anyone with a revenue over 500 million, assets over 1 billion, and over 500 employees. Then Group 2, which commenced from the 1st of July 2025, you've got anyone with revenue over 200 million, assets over 500 million, and over 250 employees. You've then got Group 3, which commences from the 1st of July 2026, and that's anyone with revenue over 50 million, assets over 25, and employees over 100. So you're starting to capture more and more of the business community by Group 3. The other thing to bear in mind that small to medium businesses that may not meet the thresholds here may still be required to deliver sustainability reporting to some degree. It may not be to the full extent of the mandatory reporting, but there will be external drivers that influence a business to deliver sustainability reporting. This is coming from supply chain primarily, and tender requirements for any government tenders. So with your supply chain expectations, you may not be required to report on your Scope 1 and 2, but you will form part of the Scope 3 for either directly or indirectly for larger reporting entities. So the shift is pushing down the value chain, the expectation to deliver accurate assessments on emissions. Obviously, you know, estimations can occur, and they probably will be in the first instance, but as we get to the pointy end of meeting the 2030 targets, businesses will need accurate emissions information for their supply chain, and they will be making decisions around their procurement on the basis of whether they add value or detract from how they meet their targets. So it is important for smaller and medium-sized organisations to be considering as early as possible, really, to start to develop an emissions assessment, and at least in the first instance, have an understanding of where the baseline is. And obviously, it's a process. You don't get there overnight. That takes me to my next slide, where just talking you through the steps of delivering a sustainability report. So the first step is building enough knowledge to know what you need to capture and how you can capture that within your business. So Powhatan is partnering with Natural Capital Co to deliver workshops that will provide an in-depth understanding of the elements of a sustainability report and an ESG report for your business. So we have those commencing from the 4th of March. Once you have an understanding of what you are capable of delivering within your business, the next step is to get your ledger and your data ready for a carbon assessment. So it's that readiness piece. It's making sure that you are collating the information that you need to collate. It's making sure that you have the systems in place to capture what you need to capture. Otherwise, it is a very manual and onerous process. So it's making sure that at the front end, you can start off on the right foot. And then you can then commence your baseline assessment. So we can certainly assist in both your carbon assessment or your preparedness, just making sure that you've got your ledger ready with enough detail to give you a reasonably accurate assessment of at least your scope 1 and 2, and then we can work with you on fleshing out what that looks like for your scope 3 and the level of detail that you are wanting to achieve in that space. So you prepare your emissions assessment. And then from there, you can then build your complete sustainability report. So you don't get there overnight, and that is why we are certainly encouraging businesses to start now, to at least be looking at what they've got and what they need, looking at their baseline to understand where they are now, and then they can start to build on their strategy to move forward and where they want to get to with their emissions footprint and their sustainable business strategy. So that then brings me to our workshops, which I will hand over to Nat, who will give you a detailed look at what the learning outcomes are of the workshops and the value that they can create within your business in terms of building capability in-house for you. So thank you, Nat. Take it away.